So, guys, this next topic is a little bit different. A guy from the country of Toga came out. He actually messaged me. He messaged on comment me on one of my videos of the boxing videos I did a few days ago, and he told me to look up his information. And his name is Emmanueli Adzoh, if I said your name right. And when looking up his information like a day ago, it was tough. I like to say happy birthday, Emmanuel, for being 30 years old, even though this video, today is the 17th and tomorrow is the 18th is your birthday, but this video will be uploaded tomorrow, so what difference does it make? So, happy birthday for being 30, by the way. That'll be the title of this video for the heck of it. But, and I don't mean to offend you, Emmanuela, but I do have some information to say about what you think you should do to your career, but it's your choice whether you do or not. The only thing you viewers have to know about Emmanuel is this. Now, first of all, guys, I don't know much about him, and I did saw some of his fights, and they were too long, and they were hard for me to watch because it would take hours for me to talk about this. So this guy, his nickname is Maximo. All you have to know is that he's a middleweight. I did make a comment on him saying, are you a heavyweight? But when looking up this information, I guess he was middleweight. He's 185 pounds. He's 6'4", and mostly, he is an MMA fighter. He's a jiu-jitsu fighter, and when looking up his information, in 2019, it stated that he was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu purple belt under Mike Buckles, being part of a generation of grapplers, which were the Gracie Barrera. If people know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as Royce Gracie and the Gracie family, so obviously for that. And of course, by age 19, by the age of 23, well, he was 19 years old when he started training as it. And in 23, he earned a purple belt after proving himself against stiff competition. And of course, he went on to do a mixed martial arts. He has he's a Chicago Open silver medalist and a Long Beach Open champion. And his goal is to prove myself as one of the greatest MMA fighters in jiu-jitsu. So winning world titles and both having a shit ton of fun along the way. This was done back in 2019 by Article with Proven. So when looking at the information, this is what we get. His first amateur fight is a guy in 2017. He wins. And by the way, go to www.tapology.com. I got the information for this, so go to his site, and this is where the information. I'm in the information right now. And of course, this is the moment. His first fight, October 7, 2017, he gets a win, but it's an amateur fight. His second amateur fight, which should have been his amateur fight, took place a long back January the 5th, 2019, against George Para. But the fight was canceled, and at this moment, this is when things happen. 3 months and 3 weeks later, instead, he leaves his amateur career. He goes to CCW, an MMA division event, on CCW 12, one of those indie events, which are like indie wrestling events, but they're different, like MMA. He takes on a 2-2 fighter named Gordy Gayton. He wins by decision. And then he decides to do a... Guys, which makes this funny, he decides to pull in an Andy Ruiz Jr. moment. Because, guys, April 28th, 2019, he fights in his pro debut. And when looking up Andy Ruiz's competition, when he came out of retirement in 2018 after his loss against Joseph Parker, it said that after he won a couple fights in 2018, 8 days before Emmanueli debuted, Andy won against Alexander Dimitriko on April the 20th. 6 or so weeks later, on June the 1st, he takes on Anthony Joshua, and before you know it, that same day, Emmanueli takes on Taven Edward, another debut fighter. He wins by first round knockout in 41 seconds by armbar in the Gladiator Challenge event. But yeah, so he's building up a good career at this moment. But instead, he decides to push it further. Instead of taking a break, he decides to go all in 8 days later, go back to CCW to run CCW event number 13, only to get his butt beat by a rookie fighter named Guillermo de Lima by first round guillotine choke. Yeah, first round. And it won't be the last time I'll say first round. And as for now, de Lima has not fought in professional fighting since, and he's only had a couple fights in his career, one amateur in February, and 3.5 months later, this fight. So that's a problem. And then by 2020, he would falter in a year. He would have no fights. What's interesting is around the same time when he took a break from his loss, he actually made a video of him doing squat challenges with hot chicks. Interesting enough. By the way, I actually looked up his most popular video, and it shows him fighting out in front of his house, I'll assume, against another guy with a shirt and such. And Emmanueli isn't wearing shoes. He's not wearing socks. He has feet, and he's going barefoot against this guy. And after I saw him throw that unbelievable right punch and brought the guy down, oh, God. Guys, go to his channel. It's crazy of how he knocked that person out. Like, when I saw that video before looking up this information, I was like, this is a champion. But when seeing this is what we get. He comes back September 23rd, 2021, takes on Patrick Becker, debut, who knows, on the FCOC 65, wins by unanimous decision. He's not even winning by knockouts. And then, July 29th, 2022, he takes on a guy that's no relation to Tyson Fury, no relation to Jarrell Miller, and no relation to Mike Tyson. A guy that's 3-0, goes by the name of Tyson Miller. Goes to LFA 137 event on July 29th, and this guy pummeled him in 47 seconds in the first round by left hook punches. Tyson Miller obliterated him, and there's no footage of it, which makes sense. Guess what happened later in January 2023? Well, Tyson Miller lost against another guy and a journeyman, just to lose again a year later in January this year, and I guess his career is dead. And as for Emmanueli, he was going to fight on June the 26th against Barrington Bishop in the LFA 161, but the fight was canceled. And looking at the ratings and what the statistics and the voting, because Topology does allow you to look at the prediction vote, and it said that Bishop have a 93% chance of defeating Emmanueli. We come to this fight, and a guy named Luis Francis Chenanellia from Brazil, debut, he comes in like moments notice, and he's 42% favorite of beating Emmanueli. People never thought he was going to win. Guess what? He won by first round knockout, again by knees and punches in 1 minute and 25 seconds. And if it wasn't worse, we come February this year, and a guy named Blair Sando goes decision on Emmanueli, beats him. His record's now 3 wins and 4 losses. So, at the end of the day, guys, Emmanueli, this is why I want... This is your choice. If you decide to do it, do it. If you don't, don't. But I think this is what we should think. You don't have a chance of doing MMA fighting, but MMA fighters have done a lot of other things in life other than professional wrestling and kickboxing. That's another thing you should think about doing. That should be interesting because you do have a tough punch. Maybe if you're not a kicker, but not much. You could do boxing. And even though you're now turning 30 years old today, I would say you still have a decade left in you. If you decide to do bare knuckle boxing, do it. I think you should stay out of MMA and try to move on to do something. I think you should move on. I just don't think this MMA isn't for you right now. But at the end of the day, not everyone is going to be good in every sport. But there's a lot of other combat sports out there that you could perform. So I think you should just try to move on and try to do something different. And even though your affiliation is with King's MMA, but I don't know if you're going to stay there for long, you might as well move on and go somewhere else. I'm not asking you to quit fighting, but go somewhere else to fight, because I don't think you should fight in MMA again. Just please don't. Thank you.